Well, good afternoon, or actually good morning. Uh, I know it's unusually early for me to bring you a blog post, but so excited about having gone to Tai Chi last night that I wanted to share it with someone, and you're the someone. So brace yourself. Brace yourself. It is Wednesday. You'll have to pardon me also because I'm getting a little bit jacked up about going to clinic tomorrow. It's 2 weeks since my last transfusion, and I'm excited to see what the numbers are. I don't know whether it's anxious or excited. Um, it's the 31st of July. It is Journal 125, and it is T+120, T+120, which is essentially 4 months since my infusion, which is hard to wrap your head around anyway. But let's not talk about that. Let's go back to talking um, about Tai Chi and what it does for me, and in some ways, I guess how that extrapolates out to treatment and recovery and mental health and meditation and all the other things that we've been talking about for the last 125 days. I normally take a class at Parks and Rec. I'd love to be able to find someplace close by where I could go and take class more than once a week. But I normally take class at Parks and Rec with a really good instructor, a really good class. And I usually take two classes. I take the beginning class and I take the advanced class. So it's 2 hours of workout. That's what I did before the transplant, before I had to go into seclusion before the transplant. So it's been a year since I've been, almost a year since I was able to work out, because there was a period of time between being considered for the transplant program and actually going into preconditioning and then the transplant itself, where I was essentially in seclusion, where and it was self-induced. It wasn't like the doctor said you can't go out, but what they did imply was that if you go out and get sick, it's going to screw up the scheduling and everything else, and it may have an impact on whether or not you qualify, and that's all I had to hear. So we basically stayed home for the better part of 2 or 3 months, as I recall, which meant not going to class, and it was a great frustration because it really limited the amount of physical exercise and relief mentally that I was able to achieve. My instructor at Parks and Rec won't be coming back to do that class until September 11th, when the new season, I don't know what you call it, the new season of different offerings from Parks and Rec come back. So I decided to look around, and I found that at the local Y, which we belong to, and in which I was cleared to go in to do light exercise, has a Tai Chi class. And you figure, what the hell have you got to lose? You might as well go. Something's better than nothing. Not always true. I did get frustrated when we went to take the Tai Chi class that was offered by City of Hope, because the instructor there was teaching Wu style Tai Chi, which is very, very different from Yang style Tai Chi. I know you don't care, but that's okay. It's like, in any case, the instructor here, the first time I went to the class, the instructor here was excellent. Had a really interesting background in martial arts, and having taken Tang Soo Do for 20 years and then taken a bunch of other martial arts subsequent to that, and went to teach English in Japan and studied martial arts in Japan and some Chinese forms while he was in Asia. And had a really excellent ability to explain not only what to do for the form, for the different postures in the form, but also a real ability to explain how to do them, and more importantly, why you're doing them, what their purpose is. And Tai Chi, regardless of anything that you learn or know about it, is a combat style. It's done very, very slowly. It's moving meditation. It builds balance and coordination, and it does a lot of really good things for your head and your circulation and your body. But if you speed up the movements 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 times, they're incredibly effective. And it's probably the first martial art. It's the mother art. And unfortunately, the class is only, once a week again, and it's only an hour long, but it's better than nothing. And it was joyous. I mean, it was absolutely joyous to be able to move again, and to move like that, starting off with what's called the temple exercises, Qigong. And you have to appreciate the fact that all of this was developed, all of this was invented, established more than hundreds and hundreds of years ago. The Chinese have been doing this forever, and have had time to refine it and establish it, and to ensure that it works. And it really does. It was almost like the art classes that I took before that take your mind off everything else. So you have that respite, that moment of clarity when you're not thinking about yourself or your treatment or your recovery or the illness, and you're just lost in the movements, lost in the form itself, trying to make sure that your breathing is proper, that your movements are proper, that your balance is adequate. It's one thing to be able to kick at normal speed. It's another it's like yoga in many respects, in the fact that when you're doing a form and you're moving through time and space, deceptively slowly, and then you do a kick in slow motion, you really find out how poor your balance really is, and what you have to do to go ahead and rebuild it. And you can. There's balance therapy. There are ways that you can go ahead and increase your balance and help out. And quite frankly, I'm looking forward to the next class. If you're cursed like I am with being a perfectionist, one of the things that's always working against you is my unwillingness to do something unless I can do it extremely well. And that means doing the form perfectly. Well, you can't do the form perfectly if you've never done it before, or if you just started doing it, or if you took a year off, and then your body, you have to the amount of atrophy that happens to your body is, while you're doing chemo and you're in treatment and you're going through this whole process is significant. And it's not easy doing this with a mask on. It's not easy breathing properly, moving through time and space with a mask on. But I have hope that, having done the form with this particular instructor, that even if I go back to my Parks and Rec instructor, I'll still continue to go to this young man in this class, because he made it very acceptable to struggle and not be perfect, and that was meaningful. And I think that I think there's some transference that occurs there with all the things that you go through in life. Whether it's writing a book, whether it's trying to market the book, whether it's your treatment, illness, whether it's your job, whether it's raising kids, no matter what. And it gives real credence to the idea that perfect is the enemy of good or great. And sometimes it's better to do something, even if it's wrong, and then deal with the consequences and improvise, adapt, and overcome afterwards. Again, something to think about. And I'll leave you to think about that while I go practice the form. Okay? So until tomorrow, stay well, take care. It'll be late tomorrow when we get back from clinic because it's a late appointment. And I'll let you know how we're doing then. Okay? Till then, take care. Bye-bye.